Social media impacts business on both a local and global stage. Organizations are using social media platforms to engage with their customers and employees and improve client service.
My presentation focused on the 4 areas that companies can improve on to harvest value from social media data. The first one is understanding the 3 different roles of social media: monitoring, engaging, and deep analytics. Companies do the first 2, but the most value to be had is actually in deep analytics. Social media is an incredible source of authentic information by stakeholders. The second one is companies operate in silos. We see business intelligence, IT, and social media and marketing working independently. They need to work together if they're able to harness and harvest the full potential of social media. If your company is relying on social intelligence and you're not able to understand how that data is collected, you are putting your company at risk. So the question is, how does one actually validate the results that are determined by technologies that you don't have access to and no knowledge of how they operate? And the fourth one is transparency. There needs to be transparent processes in place, both by providers and internally, to actually action social media insights.
ITWeb Social Business Summit, held on 15 October at Summer Place in Hyde Park, investigated the new and inventive ways in which social technologies are being used.
I think the big thing in terms of what's happening on this continent, I think it's quite important to be cognizant of what I think are the 3 major factors of being success. The first is to think about access and how people get access to you, and I think also how you communicate with people using digital technology. The second component is thinking about the last mile, thinking about how to touch and engage with consumers, if it's not necessarily for the point of sales, but how to engage human beings that are using technology on either feature phones, cell phones, or in fact desktops. And beyond that, the last component, I think, is to understand the context and the localization that is happening in every single market. And that big brands don't walk in being bolshy thinking that they understand the consumer. I think the context and localization is very, very important.
Social media impacts business on both a local and global stage. Organizations are using social media platforms to engage with their customers and employees and improve client service.
The most important thing about social business is that social media is not just for marketing. It really is starting to be used throughout the enterprise. So at the beginning, social media was the focus of outward communication efforts, whether from your public relations department or marketing communications or marketing department. But now we're seeing that social media really can be and is being used throughout the enterprise. So whether it's sales in terms of social selling, whether it's HR in terms of internal communication, social recruiting, obviously there are legal issues with social media if you work in a regulated industry, to companies that are using social data to try to determine what products they should develop next. It really has become something that is not just owned by one department but used throughout the enterprise. And I think in terms of my discussion, I talked about this trend of employee advocacy that's happening here in the United States, of really social touching almost every employee in your company, unlike anything else before. So that's really the advent of social business, of taking social media from this single department approach to really social media becoming a natural extension of everything that a company does, and a mindset that says, where else can we integrate social into what we are doing?